another What I Eat in a Day video, and Happy New Year, Happy 2020. Welcome to a brand new decade. Isn't that so crazy? I am currently in Denver, Colorado, visiting Matt's family. Well, not really visiting. We're here for probably another 5 or 6 weeks. We came to pick up little Missy. If you haven't seen our video of us reuniting, like when I came and picked her up, I'll link that down below because it's on my Instagram. So cute. Anyway, so I am filming a What I Eat in a Day video today. It is New Year's Day. You're gonna be watching this 2 days later, but it is New Year's Day, and I figured let's film a video and kind of talk about not only goal setting, but also like some tips and things that you can incorporate into the year to help you stay healthy and happy and help you reach your goals. So today's video is also in partnership with my friends at Four Sigmatic. They're an amazing partner of mine. You know I love using their products. You already saw me make my matcha. Matcha is a really easy way to add adaptogenic mushrooms like Four Sigmatic has, so I'll link some of those down below for you. And as always, I do have a special discount code. If you are interested in picking up Four Sigmatic, click the link right below this video because that will get you 15% off your order. Now, let's dive in to breakfast because I think I'm gonna make something a little different today. I am gonna be making some Instant Pot steel cut oats, and we're going to be stirring in one of Four Sigmatic's Mocha mix, so it's gonna be like a mocha flavored steel cut oats, and we'll top it with some sort of fruit. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say right now. I think maybe later on in the day I will sit down and talk a little bit more about goal setting with you guys, and of course you'll see what we eat throughout the day. So let's get going. I changed my mind and decided to do regular oats because it's much faster. So I have 1/3 cup of oats in here, topped that with a cup of almond milk. And then we're also going to add in some of this mushroom mocha mix, which has chocolate and a little bit of coffee and chaga mushrooms. And you just add it right in here, stir it in, bring this to a boil, simmer it, and your oatmeal will be done in like 5 minutes. And once you add the powder in there, just again, stir it in until it's combined. Make sure to stir slowly because it takes a little while to add it in, and sometimes the powder can like shoot out the sides. And then you'll just bring it to a boil and reduce it to a low simmer and just cook the oatmeal until the water / almond milk has been absorbed, the oats are cooked, everything is soft and gooey and delicious. Turns out we didn't have much fresh fruit, so what I did for the toppings was a dollop of almond butter. Tried to do a cute drizzle, didn't really work, so I decided to just like stir it in. And the point of adding almond butter is that you're getting a little bit of protein and healthy fats, which helps the oatmeal be more filling and stay with you for longer. And then I also did some cacao nibs and some hemp seeds for a little bit of extra crunch and flavor and texture. And that was breakfast. It was so good. Took about 5 minutes to make. Loved the chocolate coffee flavor, the mocha flavor. It was absolutely delicious. You guys definitely have to try this recipe. All right, so I wanted to take part of this video to talk about goal setting because I know this time of year a lot of people set, whether it's goals, resolutions, intentions, they just kind of like set things that they want to achieve throughout the year. I'm not a big resolutions person. Like, I'm not setting a goal to lose weight or anything like that. If you are a resolutions person, if weight loss is a goal of yours this year, awesome. More power to you. I think that's amazing. But for me, it's less about weight loss and more about just like overall health goals, as well as personal goals and business goals. So I thought we would talk about the process that I go through when I am writing down my goals. So the first thing that I think is really fun to do is do a reflection. So since we're into a new decade, what I did this year, which was really cool, was I took a piece of paper and I wrote down 2010 to 2019 on the left-hand side of the paper. So they're basically in like a column. From there, I decided to highlight or write down like different milestones that happened in each of those years. This past decade was really transformational for me. There was a ton of adventure, there was a ton of things that just I never would have expected. I never would have dreamed that I would be where I am today in 2010. So it's pretty incredible to see how much change can happen in 10 years. And it was really fun for me to kind of look back on the last 10 years and see everything that has happened. So I'll give you like a little overview, but in 2010, I graduated from college, and I pretty much immediately within the first like week and a half went on a 5-week trip, I was about to say 5-month, 5-week trip with Matt to Costa Rica. So that was our first like international trip together. I say it's where we really like fell in love, but it's definitely where we both fell in love with traveling, especially together. And it was an amazing experience. I got back from that trip and immediately started working full-time. I was living in Burlington, Vermont, where I went to school. I was working for a marketing company, and I always just kind of thought that I would be in the marketing space forever. Fast forward 2 years, I started Simply Quinoa. Back then it was Queen of Quinoa. If you've been with me that long, thank you. So yeah, 2012 started Simply Quinoa, and it was just like a passion project. Never would have thought it would have turned into what it has turned into. It was just a way for me to kind of, it was a creative outlet, but it was also a way for me to share recipes that I was creating and give inspiration and helpful tips for people that were living gluten-free and dairy-free, because back then there was not a lot of information. So that was in 2012. Fast forward 3 years, and I was able to quit my full-time job and go full-time with Simply Quinoa. And then 4 years later, which is where we are now in 2019, it's been almost 4 years. Well, actually it has been fully 4 years at this point in the new year that I've been full-time with Simply Quinoa, and the business has been absolutely incredible. Obviously in 2019, we were able to take a 4-month trip to Europe. I was able to continue working. Simply Quinoa has become a multiple 6-figure business, which is just like blows my mind. And I think looking back on graduating and like where I was in 2010, never, ever, ever in my wildest dreams would have imagined that I was running my own business. I had contractors, like I was gonna say employees, but they're not technically employees, but people working for me and supporting the growth of my business. And also that I was able to travel for 4 months. Travel has always been something that I loved, but it was never something that I thought would have like come to be. So I feel eternally grateful, and I feel like it's just a really good example that sometimes the most amazing things come from the unexpected. So start by doing a reflection of the past decade and kind of see all of the things that you've achieved in the last 10 years, because I think that it will really blow your mind and it will help you see that you've probably done a lot more than you even remember or think that you have. From there, let's think about moving forward into 2020 and into this new decade. So the first thing that I recommend is getting a journal or something to write things down. Writing down your goals is, I think, much better than putting them into your computer or typing them out. There's a thing in our brain that the physical act of writing things down just helps make it stick more in our brain. So writing them down is a great way, and then you can also refer back to them. So first things is get your journal. The next thing is to think about categorizing your life into like chunks, kind of, where you can put different goals or intentions. So I like to do personal goals, I like to do business goals, I like to do financial goals for like my personal financial, and then I also like to think about health or wellness goals, and then also relationship goals. So whether that's like my relationship with Matt, my family, my friends, whatever. So kind of come up with your main categories. You can use those 5 if you want. And then from there, you can break down and start to write down different goals based on those different categories. So kind of where you want to achieve things in each of those areas of your life. So maybe it's that you want to save X amount of money. Maybe it's that you want to visit 3 new places that you've never been in this year, or maybe it's that you want to be a better friend and reach out to people that don't live in your area. That's something that I need to do. So writing down your goals, I recommend not doing more than 3 per category. Having about 20 is the absolute maximum. So having like 2 to 3 per category is like the most achievable. And then from there, you pretty much have it. You have your goals written down, and the next thing is to just make sure that you are checking back on them regularly. I recommend that you do it quarterly. Just kind of do a little check-in, see how you're doing. You can reevaluate some of your goals. If you've achieved some of your goals, awesome, you could cross them off. Maybe you could create a new one. And then it just kind of helps you like continually check back in with yourself and make sure that you're heading in the direction that you want to go. So that's kind of my goal setting, I guess, like method. It's not really a method, but it's pretty easy. Reflecting, writing things down, grabbing your journal, categorizing and writing things down. So I hope you guys found that helpful. I'm personally definitely going to be writing down some of my goals today since it's the new year. And if you're interested, I can share some of my goals with you if you want. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. And now let's go make lunch. Spin around. Sit. Okay, so for lunch, I did a big roasted veggie bowl. I started with a delicata squash, which is one of my favorite squashes. I sliced off the ends, then sliced it in half lengthwise and scooped out the seeds. And then I like to cut this into like half moon shapes. So it's about 1/2 inch thick, and I just slice it up and add it onto my baking sheet. I also wanted to do some sort of dark green, so I did a head of broccoli, and this also actually made extras, so I'm gonna have it for lunch tomorrow too. And I just basically cut up the broccoli head floret into smaller bite-sized pieces, also added that onto the baking sheet, and then I drizzled everything with some olive oil, as well as some salt and pepper. You could also use avocado oil or melted coconut oil, and then I just used my hands to like mix it all together, and I popped this in a 425-degree oven for 20 minutes, flipping the squash halfway through. While the veggies were roasting, I finished up with some sauteed spinach. I absolutely love sauteed spinach. It's really easy to digest. It's a great way to pack in a ton of nutrients, and it wilts down a ton, so it's like you can get a ton of greens without feeling like you're eating this massive salad and feeling overly full. So I did about 3, maybe 4 cups of spinach into my saute pan. I add just a little bit of water to help it steam. And then I just cook it on like medium heat and just continue to stir it around until it steams. For flavorings, I did some garlic powder, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper, stirred that all in. And that was pretty much all I did for the bowl. So once everything was cooked, I assembled the bowl, and I want to show you everything else that I added. So I have all of my sauteed spinach. About 4 cups of spinach wilts down to like maybe a cup. And then I did half of the delicata squash and half of the broccoli. And for some extra protein, because I don't really have a protein source here, I did a giant dollop of hummus. And then I wanted to add in some healthy fats. I was hoping that we had a ripe avocado, but we didn't. So I just used some vegan queso dip that we had, and that was my healthy fat. So I have greens, I have a starch, I have my cruciferous vegetables, I have protein, and I have a healthy fat. And of course, I sprinkled everything with a touch of chili flakes as well as pepper. And then to finish lunch off, I had a small glass of homemade kombucha. All right, it is now dinner time, and we've been out and about for all afternoon, and neither of us really feel like cooking. So we're gonna do a really simple dinner. We're gonna make kale salads. We have beans in the fridge, which I'm gonna have, and we're also gonna make some white rice. If you've never had white rice before, it is a kind of rice alternative made from lentil and chickpea flour. So it's really high in protein. Let me see. About 1 serving has 10 grams of protein. So, and it's also really delicious. It comes in 4 different flavors. So we're gonna make white rice, which it takes 10 minutes to cook. Like I said, big kale salad. And the kale salad that I'm gonna be making is similar to the kale Caesar that I've shared on the channel before, but I'm basically just making a creamy tahini dressing with garlic and lemon and mustard, and then like massaging it into the kale. And then his sister made refried beans in the Instant Pot, which I'm gonna heat up with some mushrooms, and that is going to be dinner. So to cook white rice, you bring the water to a boil, add all of the package in there, and then you cover it. Well, you stir it in, and then you cover it, you turn off the heat, and you just let it sit for about 10 minutes. While that was sitting, I made my kale salad. I used 1 whole bunch of kale for both of us. So I just take the leaves off of the stem of the kale, and then I use my hands to kind of rip it into bite-sized pieces. I add all of the pieces of the kale directly into the bowl that I'm going to massage it in, and then set it aside and work on the dressing. So the dressing, like I said, was a garlic tahini. Starts with about a tablespoon or so of tahini. I love the one from Whole Foods. Also some mustard, which gives it like a nice, I don't know, just gives it a nice flavor. Some lemon juice, about half of a lemon squeezed in there, as well as some garlic powder and some salt. And then I stir it all together, and sometimes I have to add water, sometimes I don't. This one I just needed a splash of water to thin it out a little bit, but really you're looking for the consistency of like a Caesar type dressing. Once you have that, you can just drizzle the dressing over your kale, and you're going to want to use your hands to do this. So you use your hands to massage the dressing into the kale. So basically just squeeze the kale in between your hands and make sure that the dressing is like getting incorporated throughout the salad. And that's pretty much it. You could use this as a base for any type of salad. You could put toppings on top, like roasted chickpeas, avocado, maybe a hard-boiled egg. If you eat meat, you could do grilled chicken, up to you. But this is just such a simple and delicious way to get a lot of greens into your diet. And here is the finished plate. I have my giant kale salad. I have a little bit of the white rice, which I seasoned with a little bit of tamari, and the heated up refried beans. All right, so not necessarily the most interesting dinner, but very easy to put together. Took me about 10 minutes. Got the vegetables, got my protein, got a starch in there, and it's just easy peasy sometimes. I will be popping in after dinner to show you how to make my favorite turmeric latte or golden latte from Four Sigmatic. But for now, I'm gonna turn on a movie and eat my dinner. All right, so I'm gonna end the night with a little golden latte. I add this, a little bit of almond milk, some raw honey, and some hot water into my blender, blend it up, and it's the perfect after dinner treat, and it's really calming and so, so delicious. All right, my friends, that does it for today's video. I am going to go enjoy this turmeric latte. I have to take a sip first. So good. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions for me about goal setting or anything like that, you can drop them down below. Any recipes that I mentioned will also be included down below. All of my favorite Four Sigmatic products are linked in the description box below. And if you have not yet tried Four Sigmatic, or you're interested in picking up any of their powders or pouches or products, I highly recommend it. They're amazing. I love all of them. You can get 15% off your order by clicking the link that is right below this video. It's an amazing deal. And like I said, if you're stuck on what to order, just check out the description box because that has all of my favorite products. Don't forget to click the red subscribe button right below to subscribe if you are not yet part of this awesome community. And I hope you have a fabulous start to your year. Happy New Year, happy 2020. This is going to be an amazing year. I feel it, I know it's going to be a good one. So happy New Year, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.